Best bites forever.
Hi, I'm Chef Alicia, and today we're going to be making strawberry pie. It's so very good! Let's get started with 1 pound of fresh strawberries. I've already washed these and removed the stems, and now I'm putting it into my food processor, and I'm just going to pulse them. And you're going to be looking for a texture that is going to look something like this. Just as a side note, I use my bigger strawberries to do the puree, and I save my smaller strawberries to put into the pie shell, and you will need a total of 2 pounds for this recipe. So here I am adding them into my pan, and the heat is not turned on yet, and scrape, 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 make sure you get all the goodness into your pan. To that I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. After the sugar, I add in 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and if you want your pie to set up even thicker, you can add another tablespoon or so, but this gives it a really good texture for me. Next is 1 tablespoon of key lime juice and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Stir that all together really well, and make sure that you scrape the bottom as you stir. Then turn the heat on to medium-high, and you really need to make sure that you're stirring this and getting the bottom pretty much the whole time that it's cooking, because it burns really easily. This generally is going to take you under 5 minutes to get the glaze right, but really you're going to have to learn to judge by color. So check it out and notice that it's got kind of a white look to it. And did you notice that the color changed just a little bit? It's starting to get a little bit more clear and glossy, but it's not quite there yet. It's going to change just a little bit more, so keep watching. Again, just make sure that you're stirring, and look what I'm doing. I'm using the spatula to scrape along the bottom as I'm stirring it up. If you do happen to notice burning on the bottom, just hurry up and stick it into another pan before it gets black on the bottom, and continue cooking it in your new pan. Okay, now look at the color on this next part. You're going to notice that it's gotten, I guess you could call it clear and very glossy. That's exactly what you're looking for. And that white color is pretty much gone, except for the little bubbles that are on top. Take it off of the heat and set it over to the side to cool off for a few minutes. And also, as another little note, if you happen to have not had key lime juice laying around, you can also use lemon juice for this, or just regular lime juice. Either one works fine. The next thing that you're going to need is a pre-baked pie shell. Your shell should be fully baked and totally cooled off before you start. Let's begin by adding a very thin layer onto the bottom of the pie shell, and spread that around as even as you can using your rubber spatula. The next thing you'll need is your other pound of fresh strawberries, and again, of course, I'm going to have started by washing them and hulling them, which is cutting out the stems and the leaves and all that. So here you just want to lay your strawberries in a single layer in the bottom of the shell. And again, what I do is when I get my 2 pounds of strawberries out, I separate them into 2 piles, the bigger ones and the smaller ones, and I use the big ones for my puree and my smaller ones for my layer. Also, if you have kids, this is a really great time to let them help out. You can see my daughter's little hand reaching in there and helping me with the strawberries. Now take that filling that has been sitting over on the side and cooling and pour it right on top. At this point, your filling should have already been cooling for at least 5 minutes and really no longer than 10. If you wait too long, your filling sets up too much, and then it doesn't get like inside of all of the nooks and around the strawberries, so then when you cut your pie it just kind of falls apart because the strawberries aren't all happy and stuck. And once you get your filling spread out really nice and even, and just take your time doing this part, put it into the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 hours. Just watch for it to set up. When it's all finished, garnish it with either whipped cream or Cool Whip, and I'll tell you a secret, which is I like Cool Whip on my strawberry pie, and that's because that's how I grew up eating it in my grandma's house, and it's bomb. Happy cooking, everyone!
bestbitesforever.com